exciting time for art lovers, art enthusiasts, collectors, and people who live the good life in general and appreciate art. Today's panel discussion revolves around rare artistry. And some of you would have already had a glimpse of the very special showcase that Robb Report has curated for BMW Collectors Lounge this evening, whether it's the beautiful art piece by none other than Raghavendra Rathore, and I'm given to understand it's the first time being displayed in India for this preview. Thank you, Raghu, for doing this. Whether it's the beautiful, beautiful collectibles from the house of Sunita Shekhawat, or the absolute heirloom piece that Mr. Holkar, Mr. Yeshwant Holkar, has actually flown in from Maheshwar. Thank you so very much, all of you, for doing this. And of course, we have a chef par excellence to whom food is art. I'm going to do a quick introduction for all the panelists before we jump into what promises to be a fun and meaningful conversation. We have with us Avarna Jain, Vice Chairperson of Saregama India and Chairperson RPSG Lifestyle Media, who is going to be moderating today's panel. Saregama is India's oldest music and entertainment company and part of the $10 billion RPSG group. Under her leadership, Saregama, which owns nearly 50% of all Indian music ever recorded, has been reinvented for the digital era. She launched the iconic Carvaan music player and has led Saregama's entry into OTT and entertainment. Avarna helms the luxury lifestyle publishing business of RPSG Group, RPSG Lifestyle Media. She, under her vision, has brought iconic titles like Esquire, The Hollywood Reporter, my favorite, The Robb Report India, and our very own in-house title, Manifest. Avarna was listed as Fortune's 50 most powerful women in India and was on the 40 under 40 list of 2025. She is also on the Hurun India under 40 list for 2025, shaping the future of India Inc. Moving quickly to the brilliant panelists that we have for this evening. Jewelry designer Sunita Shekhawat. Each piece is iconic. Each piece actually what could well become an heirloom. Sunita is a name often heard among discerning jewelry buyers. Today, the house of Sunita Shekhawat is a tribute to artistry, legacy, and innovation. Born in Jodhpur and now based in Jaipur, Sunita has unmatched expertise in gemology, centuries-old techniques, and materials. Through her unparalleled work, Sunita weaves a poetic narrative where heritage and modernity coexist. A case in example is the beautiful Meenakari collectibles on special display today at the BMW Collectors Lounge. Thank you, Sunita, for bringing those along for this special evening. Her creations are not just jewelry pieces, but a bridge between Jaipur's past and its future. Her distinctive designs and pioneering vision have established her as a leader in the jewelry world, redefining what it means to honor the past while creating for the future. Thank you, Sunita, for joining us today. Chef Manish Mehrotra needs no introduction because we all love food, don't we? And we love good food. One of the most influential names in contemporary Indian gastronomy, his latest venture with Nisaba, his first independent restaurant at the Humayun Tomb complex, is already creating ripples among Delhi's finest diners. Manish has shaped some of India's most definitive and iconic dining destinations, including the Indian Accent and Cormoran. If you want to understand how food can be art, or how, food can truly be artistic, probably this is the man to go to in the country. Manish is also the co-founder of Manish Mehrotra Culinary Arts, a modern culinary platform dedicated to supporting and scaling diverse expressions of cuisine. MMCA seeks to rediscover India's culinary legacy and reimagine its future. He is the author of the Indian Accent Restaurant Cookbook and an avid collector with a personal library of over 1,500 cookbooks. Art in food, you need to head to Misaba very, very soon, guys. Next up, we have with us Robb Report Circle member and designer par excellence, Raghavendra Rathore, who comes from the historic Jodhpur family with an unbroken legacy tracing back over 800 years. Very few know that Rathore is a prolific artist besides being a fashion designer and hotelier. His work, The Listening Heart, on showcase this evening, is a piece that truly interprets inheritance of structure, discipline, and cultural continuity. Literally a personal cultural artifact intended for discerning private collectors. The work marks a rare return to art making by Rathore, whose earlier international engagement includes participation in New York Ampar charity auction in 1986, alongside artists such as Christo in support of Elizabeth Taylor's AIDS research initiatives. Conceived as a one-of-one work outside an ongoing art practice, The Listening Heart privileges authorship, restraint, and rarity. Guys, please don't miss this art piece, which is placed right here within the lounge just for this evening. Up next is grandson of Maharaja Yeshwant Holkar II and the 16th descendant of Pune Shlokmata Devi Ahilyabai Holkar. Prince Yeshwant Holkar III pursues his passion for conservation and restoration of Devi Ahilyabai's legacy. Yeshwant founded the Holkar Cultural Center in Maheshwar, which highlights the rich legacy and traditions of the Holkar family. He works to preserve and promote the Maheshwari handloom tradition as a board member of NGOs like Reva Society and Women Weave. What you see on showcase today, right in the center of the Collectors Lounge, is a part of his history and his heirloom that he brings to this room just for the evening again. Yeshwant is also a partner of Ahilya Experiences, the group behind Ahilya Fort Heritage Hotel in Maheshwar and Ahilya by the Sea in Goa. He's based between Mumbai, Indore, and his ancestral home in Maheshwar, and today he is with us here, right in Delhi. Over to you, Avarna, and over to this great set of panelists. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Indrila. So the theme for today's conversation is rare artistry. And I'm going to go through each of you, but I want to open this up for the whole panel. In a world that's driven by speed, motion, scale, what does rarity truly mean to you? Can we start with you, Yeshwant?
On the hot seat.
On the hot seat.
What does rarity mean? I think as you said, today the world moves so quickly, things change so fast, everything is available at the touch of a button, digitally, you can order things to your home in 10 minutes or less. I think things that are considered, things that are sought, things that require effort, that is rare today. That is something that when you embrace it, it really gives you joy, right? I think that sense of finding something, discovering something, connecting to something in that way, I feel that is rare today. There's so much that each of the people here are doing that really fits exactly that. It's custom made, it's beautiful, it's thoughtful, it's bespoke. Those are the things that really end up being rare.
I absolutely love what you said, Yeshwant, especially what you said about something being bespoke. And on that note, I'd move to Sunita ji. What do you think? What makes something truly rare?
Hello everyone. So, rarity has different meaning for different people. For me as a designer, as a jeweler, of course when you talk of any stone which is rare, of course that's a beauty. But other than that, I think that if it's handmade, if it's made to a precision, And if it's feeding at least 5-10 families in the country, I think for me that is rare. And after working with the artisans in Jaipur for 30 years, last 30 years, I feel each artisan has a different concept, different design to bring on the table. And each artisan has a rare quality which I feel is very different and very rare. Otherwise, rarity, I have done gemology, we all understand what rarity is. But for me as an artist who understands jewelry, gemology, identification of the stone, rarity is the craft.
That's so beautiful. On that note, Chef, I think when someone says rarity is the craft, it's exactly what you do. What do you think? What does rarity truly mean to you?
For me, in food is one such thing that you eat and it finishes. So in food, rarity means the experience and the memory it creates, which remains with you for your entire life. That is the rarity.
That's so beautiful. I think in today's super fast-paced world where, as Yeshwant rightly said, you get everything at the touch of a button, I think experiences really stay with you. So that's absolutely beautiful. Raghu, on to you.
For me, I think it's actually a measure of contextual depth or whatever it can be applied to. In this super hyper fast world, I think the value that you derive from understanding the context and then bringing in the elements of obscurity and the other ideas, I think that's what makes rarity different and presently what we are all feeling and what we are going through.
So I'm going to flip this question on its head before I go into specifics with each one of you. What is the rarest thing that you've created or acquired?
The most rare moment in life is when you have peace within yourself. Being away from, for me, Fashion Weeks was where we gave birth to the brand, and for the last 10 years, I've not been part of a single fashion week, and I have my own peace, and the art and the craft prevails. And I think that's what's very important, is that can it work without, can a rare bespoke business run without you being in it and having your peace at the same time? Or do you need to forever be locked into the vortex of life?
Very profound, I must say. Some business acumen coming through here.
Me, I would say, again, food, memories and everything, it goes like this. So for me, what the movement which in 2009 I started with the modern Indian food, taking Indian food and making it global Indian food. That moment for me was really special, and which really started a movement so that many young chefs, they started exploring it, and that give the chance for different regional specialities to come in a modern way, and it became relatable for the rest of the world. So I think that for me was very, very special.
I think that calls for a round of applause for Chef, because he's really paved the way for modern Indian cuisine across the globe. Thank you, Chef, for that one.
So for me, I think memory is very rare, and see, you can clearly differentiate between your personal life and your professional life. So personal, I can go on and on, but professionally when you talk, then I introduce or I come up with a different combination of any enamel color, and especially during COVID, when we all had ample time in hand, and I was sitting with all my artisans and discovering, what can be done during this time when we have all the time in the hand. So we came up with the idea of doing plique à jour, which is a French technique of doing enamel, and I taught my Desi Karigar how to do that French technique. I think that is a very, very special moment I cherish till date.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit more materialistic, sorry. These are...
That, we love that.
I think the one of the really great joys is being able to research and recover lost things, right? And I've been privileged to be a part of our family's journey with the Maheshwari textile over the last 300 years. And now part of what we're working on is the Museum of the Maheshwari, which in Maheshwar will become an institute where people can really connect with its legacy and understand the unique facets and the process of how Maheshwari handloom weaving is done. And through that, in that endeavor, we've had really a wonderful time going into people's old collections of Maheshwari saris. And because it's a rather delicate fabric, it's hard to find pieces that are over 100 years old and still intact. And when you find them, gosh, that is rare. That is something that you hold and you sort of hold your breath because you don't want anything to happen to it. And we've had some wonderful discoveries of really interesting different textiles, which we hope very soon to be able to present in the museum. So I think that would be my most rare acquisition.
That's quite amazing, and actually brings me to my next question, which is for you, Yeshwant. The photograph and sari that you've brought are not acquisitions, they are inheritances. How does custodianship differ from ownership, especially when it comes to art and heritage?
I think the short answer is, when you're a custodian, you feel very bad if you sell it. But don't sell it, correct? Don't sell it. Just keep buying it. But no, I think there's a sense of connection, there's a sense of responsibility, there's a sense of, this is going to be a big word, but there's a sense of duty when it comes to feeling custodianship over anything, right? And ownership of something is something that's purely volitional. It's something that's joyful. It's something that could even be commercial, right? So for me, navigating these two paradigms is an interesting balance, right? Because there are things that you love, that you just want to acquire, and there are things that you feel that are important to preserve, to promote, to ensure that they continue into the future.
Have you had an instance where you've gone out and acquired something that would have been part of your legacy, but for some reason was with someone else?
Many. Well, I think especially when it comes to artworks, there are some wonderful portraits of my grandfather taken by the photographer Man Ray, which as a college student with a pitiful budget, I spent 2 years worth of whatever allowance I had, and I said, I've got to, get these because they were on auction somewhere or the other. And they're really one of those things that I just feel so personally connected to, that I have a pride of place on my wall. So
that's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And my next question to you is, how do you decide what should remain preserved and what should be reinterpreted for the present?
No, so Avarna, I don't think those two are like mutually exclusive, right? I think sometimes to preserve something, you have to evolve it, you have to develop it, right? I mean, I take the example of what my parents did in Maheshwar, right? In 1978, when they came and established Reva Society, the Maheshwari sari was something that was seen as very colloquial, that its design didn't have a market in Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, etc., right? So to preserve the Maheshwari tradition, which is the skill set in those weavers' hands, which is the pride that they feel when they present a textile, to preserve that, you had to evolve it, right? And that meant that the actual skill set was preserved. And that has allowed us today to come back and do revival collections of designs that are over 100 years old now, right? So I think both of those they go hand in hand. You have to at times do one to achieve the other.
I think that's absolutely on point. You have to reinvent something to be relevant to today's world in order for it to be palatable to today's audience. But at the same time, I think the beauty is in retaining the craft. So I think that's absolutely wonderful. On that note, Sunita ji, Meenakari is traditionally a very intimate and wearable craft. And what you're showcasing today are actually collectible versions of that. They're not wearable versions. What is the emotional relationship that you aim to establish between the object and the consumer?
See, the whole idea is to celebrate craft. It's like when you buy a piece of cloth, it's up to you whether you want to make a modern drape or a traditional sari. So for me, when I was designing collectible, I was only celebrating Meenakari, which is true to the history of course, Jaipur, and true to the essence of the brand, which is known for its varied color. And the brand itself has introduced more than 350-60 shades of enamel. So the whole idea was to make it very contemporary, and not only jewelry which lies in the locker. Maybe it's like celebrating craft every single day, you know. And what is luxury? When you see something beautiful, when you touch something beautiful, and when you admire something beautiful is true luxury to me. And in jewelry, you know, most of the time the pieces are either in the locker or you need a special occasion to wear jewelry. But for a piece of art, you know, it's not only for yourself, it's for everyone, people around you also. So that was the whole idea behind the collectible, and it goes beyond jewelry, you know.
And in this collectible, Sunita ji, do you use the Indian form of doing Meenakari or the French one that you spoke about?
I use both, honestly. But the motifs, I think the inspiration comes from all across the world. From Turkey to the blue pottery of Jaipur to the blue mosque. And recently I was in Egypt. And I went to Cyprus, and there's this village in Cyprus called Lefkara, and they do some beautiful lace work. So I took a cab, went to that village, spent good 3-4 hours there, and now that effect of that lace is still on my mind. So maybe next collection could be on laces also. Yeah.
So you literally draw inspiration from anything that you see around you?
Anything. Right now, sitting across people, looking at them. Inspiration is all around you. You have to just open your eyes and look around you.
I think the kind of panel I'm sitting with, that's the case for everyone here. I think I have a lot to learn. But there's something very beautiful that you said in your earlier part of the conversation where you spoke about adding meaning and giving people a livelihood.
Yes.
You work with endangered techniques and also with master artisans. And in today's world where everything is becoming mechanical and machine and you need quick turnaround, whether you look at, whether we look at saris or we look at weaves or we look at even jewelry, it's all, the man-made aspect is becoming rarer and rarer.
Yeah.
At what point does craft become cultural preservation rather than luxury?
See, when I was designing one of my most favorite collection, which is Bougainville, and you know how these designer and all the institutes, the first thing that the students do is just click on their system, they open the Pinterest and they just make the most beautiful presentation. So when I think of any concept, I tell them to shut down their system. It has to be, I won't take the credit of doing something which is original, but to convert any idea, any imagination into a jeweled piece has to be the main object. So I think handmade, original, made with precision is the whole essence. Yeah.
I think that's quite contrary to what you see a lot of kids doing today, especially with the advent of AI. But actually, if you can preserve that, it would be so beautiful.
Yes.
And I read a study recently which actually said it's the first generation of kids that are actually dumber than their parents because they're using AI and the technology, which is becoming a disadvantage. Their neurons are not firing enough because they're using AI to do their work for them.
Yeah. And especially in design, you need to use your imagination rather than the system. Of course, I'm a big fan of all the softwares, but that comes much later in designing. Yeah. It does help. Yeah, it does help. but not when you're trying to create something unique. Yeah.
Yeshwant, I'd like to ask this question to you as well. At what point does craft become cultural preservation rather than a luxury?
But again, I think part of luxury is cultural preservation. No? I mean, what will we be left with if we don't preserve that which is part of our culture, right? Preserve, evolve, push, all of those things, for me, that's luxury. It's not a price point, it's a meaning, it's a mission. So I think all of those concepts are interlinked, and that's really the way forward.
I think everything that all of you are saying today is actually absolutely amazing, and there's so much depth in what you're saying, because it's all about taking forward legacies that have been almost handed down to us or that we've created in the case of Chef. So in fact, Chef, I'm going to ask you a question. What you create usually is something it's very temporal. It disappears at the blink of an eye or the first bite that you take, because I mean, you create magic on a plate, we all know that, but your art disappears the moment it's consumed. Do you think that makes it rarer, or does it make it more powerful, or does it make it more transient? How do you view your art?
My art on a plate is the rarity comes that when it disappears, a next plate comes. And the rarity is to maintain the consistency that in a day, if you are making 50 of those art and it is destroyed, all 50 plates are going to be destroyed and people are happy about it. Next day, you create same 50 plates with the same flavor, same presentation. That is rarity.
And honestly, in your profession, there are no retakes, no?
There are no retakes. And the review, you get it then and there only.
So Chef, what inspired you to create something within your craft that was so rare that people are like lining up and they're waiting for weeks and weeks to actually come and experience what you're offering to them?
The food scene has changed. The entire world food scene has changed. Food is not only about food, food has become experience. So you don't only eat food because you have to fill your stomach. You eat food for an experience, and experience is all about looking at the plate, being in that environment. Is it something, it is creating some kind of an emotion? Is it some kind of a nostalgia it is creating? So all these things becomes part of an experience. So when we design a dish, for us, the lighting of the restaurant, color of the plate, color of the sauce which going on, color of the garnish, all these things matter, and that's what you created on a plate, and that's what it is, food art.
I think that's why, Chef, you're called an artist or a magician. I don't know which one. It's a tough call between the two. So Raghu, what you brought here today, it's a never seen before listening heart, and it exists between stillness and movement. What drew you to motion as a medium? And what does movement or motion add that static art cannot?
Motion lets you, lets the emotion breathe. I appreciate stillness, but when you have motion, a layer of motion, it does something to you, revives your memories, it revives, the idea of continuity. And also to be able to create something that doesn't disturb the art and is a layer of movement. It's a challenge by itself, and I think I've been doing this for the last 20 years, but just don't get time to do it. And my customers, my clients in Dubai are always looking for something which has stillness but a layer of motion. So it also differentiates the context of art for me. Otherwise, it makes it just a painting or a illustration or a sketch. We sketch 600-700 sketches a day, so to me that doesn't do anything personally. I think the more important thing is to add a dimension of something that's complex and a complicating thing, but also to bring it more to a contemporary space because we are a very classic brand in terms of clothing, and to have something which is a bit of a more contemporary take on that is very important for me. So,
And tell me, how do you seamlessly blend or move across art and fashion? How do you blend these two parts of your soul?
the ideas actually come to you when you're in a jungle, watching a leopard far away from the hectic noise. Some you choose to revive and bring it back into your clothing and upgrade that, as rightly mentioned, that you've got to reinforce and put guardrails on something that's a relic worn for 200, 500 years. But what is interesting, what is inspiring, what you see when you walk around in the art fair, you can't use that in fashion, and you need an outlet for that. And since I've been doing this for so long, my daughter is actually my inspiration for this, because she's the one who pushes me to sit on that table, not on the design table. And my assistant Prana is going to really feel that so the pressure is on my team, but that doesn't take the focus away from fashion.
That's beautiful, actually. The fact that your daughter is your inspiration is absolutely amazing. So I wanted to ask you all, we're obviously sitting on, it's a BMW Lounge, we're sitting at a Robb Report panel. Three of you have been a part of the Robb Report, the first time we did the Robb Report experiences. What is the one thing, Chef, we're hoping you might be a part of it on the other side and help us curate something. But my question today is, what is the one thing you would want to see Robb Report create? Just one line from each of you.
Can we race some BMW cars?
Very difficult question, but honestly, we really enjoyed your hospitality in Udaipur. Can you do it again, please?
Indrila, I hope you're taking note.
Next time, food can be part of this art fair also. Properly. Not just the food stalls, but food can be part of the thing. Yeah.
I'm sure Jaya and Uma are taking note.
Well, since you're talking about rare products, maybe your annual gift that you send out should be the most rarest object out of India.
Always. I think that's absolutely amazing, and I think the panel sitting here can help us curate that gift. Okay, now on that note, so today what we have in the room is a limited edition jewel. It's the BMW Concept Speed Top, a resonance of craft, proportion and intent. It's a very different kind of art, it's a very different kind of rarity. But tell me, across all your disciplines, what is the one element that must never be compromised for something to truly be called art?
I think the intent and the truth behind whatever you do. Otherwise, it's just craft, it's not art. I think, to have some context, some depth, and some give back to society, whatever it may be, whether it's heritage, is very important because that also differentiates, your work from a global audience.
For me, creating something which is not known, because India, food-wise, India is such a large place. We are still learning. We are still discovering things. So for me, something which is not known to people, which is very, very simple, which can be celebrated, which people don't, in day-to-day life, they don't pay attention to it, but it is unique and it can be celebrated, whether it's a pinch of hing or it's a one muthi of any lentils, that can be celebrated, that is rare. And it will help a lot of people who are working to grow these things and helping us to get this on our plate.
I think for me it's handmade and exclusivity, of course, and I think we can use definitely the gemstone, which are not celebrated enough. Like the different color combination can be a rarity and cannot be compromised. Yeah.
So I have a slightly different angle on this. We're talking about this beautiful car over there. It's one of one or whatever it is, right? Now, it is a stunning work of art, but I have a sort of, I don't know, the way the BMW people in the house, right? Hi, BMW people. So here's a proposition. Here's a challenge, okay? That car is upholstered with the finest, I don't know, Italian leather or whatever, right? If we want to make it art for India, let's upholster it in handloom. You come to Maheshwar, we'll work with you on a custom design, we'll make a fantastic upholstery that is one of that suits a car like that. Let's bring that home in India. Yeah? Okay, done. You're connecting us.
You have given them a very tough task.
And then you can put some jewels in it as well. It can have a fantastic roll of the doors and a wonderful menu.
Wow.
And a bar. Yeah, don't forget the bar.
I think we've had a very, very interesting and fascinating discussion today on rare artistry. Raghu talking about rich Indian heritage, intent and giving back, which is what I think rare artistry means to you. For Chef, it's celebrating the simplicity and unknown flavors that we don't even know exist in our country. For Sunita ji, it's handmade and exclusivity. And for Yeshwant, well, I think it comes down to sort of taking your legacy forward with what you just said.
And nice cars.
And nice cars. And I think today at this panel here for BMW and Robb Report, I think we've, in a very, very simple yet effective way, summarized what rare artistry really means. And I want to take this moment to thank each one of you for being here and for making this panel ever so special. It's been such a wonderful evening with all of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Avarna.
Thank you so much, Avarna. Thank you.
Thank you.